Opening shot. A slow pan across ancient ruins, fading into shadowy symbols on stone walls. Eerie, subtle music underscores the narration. Narrator. Calm, deliberate, piercing. They don't hide it because they're afraid of being found out. They hide it because they know you'll never look. There is a level of understanding so far beyond common thought that even if you stood in front of it, your mind would reject it. Not because it's false, but because it dismantles the scaffolding your beliefs are built on. This is the essence of the 33rd degree. Not a title, not a badge, but a doorway. A door you were never meant to see, let alone enter. One woven through silence, ritual, and geometry. It's encoded in plain sight, etched into currency, governments, cathedrals, and architecture. But it's not for the eyes. It's for the mind behind them. For centuries, the most powerful have whispered of a truth that shatters illusion and rewrites the laws of perception. Not with spells, not with violence, but with understanding. Because once you truly understand how reality is shaped, you stop playing the game and start designing the board. This secret isn't conspiracy. It's clarity. And once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Because everything you believe will begin to collapse. And what rises in its place is something entirely new. Slow zoom into a dollar bill under a magnifying glass. The eye of providence becomes the focal point. A whisper builds in the background. Layered voices in Latin fade beneath the narration. Narrator, calm, surgical. Look closer. What do you see when you stare at a symbol? A triangle? A serpent? A number? Most will glance and move on. But those who understand, those who truly see, know that symbols are not decorations. They are instructions. The world's elite don't speak the language of the masses. They speak in geometry, in numerology, in ritual. Because symbols are more powerful than speech, they speak directly to the unconscious. They bypass the gatekeeper of logic and go straight into the system that builds belief. This is why every empire from ancient Egypt to modern superpowers drenched itself in coded images. Why the number 33 appears not just in secret societies, but in the structure of governments, the stories we idolize, the very bones of what we think is real. You've been surrounded by the code since the moment you opened your eyes. You just weren't taught to read it, because those who can read the code can rewrite the rules. This is not superstition. This is not myth. This is design. And the 33rd degree, it isn't about knowing more. It's about perceiving differently. Not what to think, but how thought itself is manipulated. The symbols were never meant to be worshipped. They were meant to wake you up. A pendulum swings in silence. The camera slowly pans up to a statue with a blindfold. Lady Justice. The scene shifts to a chessboard mid-game. Narrator. Measured, precise. You were taught to pick a side. Good or evil, right or wrong, light or dark. But the moment you choose, you've already lost. Because the truth behind the 33rd degree isn't found in the war between opposites. It's found in the ability to rise above them. This level of awareness dismantles the very structure of duality. It reveals that every system of belief you've ever held was handed to you by someone else. Religion, politics, morality, even identity. None of it came from within. It was installed, layer by layer, until you could no longer hear your own voice underneath the noise. Those who reach this level of insight don't play the game of sides anymore. They study the board. They study the players. And then they step outside of it. This is what terrifies the world. Not rebellion, not revolution, but detachment. Because once you detach from the illusion of sides, you become untouchable. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer follow, you observe. And from that place, you no longer believe reality. You begin to build it. This is the hidden promise of the 33rd degree. Not power over others, but sovereignty over the self. And in that sovereignty, everything begins to shift. A single candle flickers in an otherwise dark room. The camera slowly zooms in on the flame, as if witnessing a moment of quiet realization. Narrator, soft, almost intimate. What if everything you've believed about yourself, about the world, about reality itself, was a layer of smoke? A haze built to obscure the clarity beneath? The 33rd degree is not just a secret. It is a revelation. Not something you learn, but something you awaken to. The moment you step outside the constructs of duality, the moment you stop chasing answers and start seeing, the world rearranges itself. It's like looking through a fogged-up window, only to wipe it clean and realize you were never looking at the world at all. You were looking at your reflection. And when that veil lifts, you stop seeing the world as it is, and you start seeing the world as it could be. This is the ultimate truth. You are not a prisoner of your beliefs. You are the creator of them. The 33rd degree isn't about knowledge for knowledge's sake. It's not about joining an exclusive club or acquiring a special title. It's about waking up. It's about reclaiming the truth that's always been yours, hidden beneath layers of conditioning and distraction. When you realize you can shape your reality, when you realize your power is boundless, you no longer fear what the world thinks of you. You no longer wait for permission. You take the reins. The world is yours to shape, and nothing will ever be the same again. Final pause. A long, lingering silence.